You think you got blogging skills? Look, I'm sure you do have game, but no matter where you are in the process of becoming a really good content creator, there's always opportunity for leveling up. So today I want to share with you 6 skill sets that I'm working on as a content creator over the next year, and I want to invite you to join me on a quest to become an ultimate content warrior. Real quick before we get into that, quick reminder that the Ultimate Content Warrior Challenge starts today. It's not too late to sign up. Make sure you go to incomeschool.com/UCW to sign up for free. This is going to be an awesome month of challenges. It's going to help all of us level up our game. The first skill is understanding searcher intent. Search engine optimization is all about rising in the search rankings. But we know that the most important ranking factor is relevance. Is the content that you've created relevant to the search that's being searched? I mean, that's why we don't see articles about fish showing up in search queries about dogs. Relevance. And so creating content that's highly relevant for the searcher is key to ranking well in Google. The better we can understand what people are thinking and the types of questions that they are likely to have, the better we're going to be able to, 1, write articles about the right things, and 2, write articles that are well suited to those people and answer their question in a unique and helpful way. Now that's something we've taught for a long time and I feel like I'm fairly good at, but I want to improve. And so the way I'm going to do that is by trying to participate more in the industries where I have blogs and try to understand especially what beginners in that niche are likely to search. I can do that by participating in forums. I can do that by listening to podcasts, particularly Q&A episodes on podcasts, to understand the types of questions that people have. The more that I can get into the mind of the user, the better able I'm going to be to create that awesome content. All right, the second skill I am admittedly not as good at, and that is writing good headlines. I think I'm fairly decent, and we've taught a lot on this channel. Man, Jim is so good at this. We've taught a lot on this channel in the past about how to write good headlines and some tips of things that you can include. Different types of headlines that do really, really well in search, as well as for interest content when a headline grabs somebody's attention. Now, the reason headlines are really important is twofold. 1, yes, it helps in the search if the headline is descriptive of what's in the content, sure. But it's more important, this is number 2, it's more important that the headline helps a user to understand that this is the content they're looking for. And so your headlines need to be a couple of things. 1, they do need to be descriptive of what the content is. 2, they need to be attention-getting in some way. Now, I don't want to advocate for clickbait titles. A clickbait headline is a headline that exaggerates the content that's there. We don't want to exaggerate the content. We want to grab attention, but we need to be truthful. Clickbait headlines, 1, if they're overly clickbaity, it actually can hurt your SEO. And 2, if they're overly clickbaity, people that come to your content will be annoyed by it. And it's not going to have the effect. It's not going to have high click-through rates. It's not going to help you sell a product. It's not going to make a good affiliate sale. So let's avoid clickbaity titles, but let's come up with things that are uniquely interesting. So how are we going to level up our game? Well, the best way to get good at something is experience. It's practice, right? And so obviously we need to write a lot of headlines, but writing a lot of headlines and then waiting to see which ones do well, that's not going to help us level up very quickly, right? And so the next best thing will be going out and looking at other people's headlines that are doing well. So I encourage you to go do some searches in Google in some really competitive topics. Like think about your industry and think about what would be the holy grail. If I could win this search, I would get so much traffic because everyone in my industry is searching this. And go do that search and see which articles rank near the top and look at their headlines. What are they doing? What are they doing that's different? If you're looking at more long tail searches, you're not necessarily going to get a lot of great examples because there's just not as much competition there. But in highly competitive searches, you're going to get some awesome examples. Then I encourage you to actually go through an exercise of writing a lot of headlines in a short period of time. When we do search analysis, what we like to do is come up with a whole bunch of topics. We'll do search analysis for what we consider the entire foundation of a site. Not just 30 posts, not even 60 posts, but more like 100 to 150 posts. Topics that we think will do well on this site. Well, once we have the topics, kind of the general search query that we're going for, we need a headline. If you'll go through the exercise of writing multiple headlines, one after another, you're going to get good at it. This is where you take what you've learned from looking at other people's examples and putting it into practice yourself, even before you ever get around to writing the blog posts. Okay, skill number 3 is getting really good at writing answer targets. Answer targets are short segments of articles that are quick, digestible, snackable content that answer questions really specifically and really concisely, more in an encyclopedic type format. We write these answer targets with an intent, one, to be really helpful to a user who comes to the blog post and is like, just give me the answer. But two, these answer targets are the perfect type of content that Google loves to pick up for rich snippets. That snippet is going to take your article that might have ranked number 6, 7, 8, 9 and jump it to the front of the line, so you'll be ranking number 1. We have found this to be one of the best opportunities in SEO right now, as Google is implementing these snippets more and more often on more and more searches. So how do we get better at it? Well, one is to go look at snippets. Look at the types of posts that are winning snippets in your industry today and read the snippet. See what's working. You'll find that there are some searches that Google wants to put a snippet, and they do, but it's not very good and doesn't directly answer the question. That's an opportunity for you. If you have an article in that same topic, go to your article and write a much better 3-sentence answer. Now, we have an entire video going into much more depth on this form of SEO optimization through winning Google snippets. I want to invite you to go watch that video so you can level up your answer target game. The next skill set is doing original research. When you're in college, you have to do original research. If you copy other people in any way, you risk getting thrown out of a university. But as bloggers, we often find ourselves and others taking content that already exists and just sort of repurposing it, massaging it. That's not original research. Now, the reasons that we have for learning to do really good original research are not just because it's kind of a jerk thing to do, but it's also because, frankly, if your content is just Me Too content that's maybe slightly improved, you don't stand as much a chance of actually overtaking existing articles in the search rankings. Sure, over time, you'll knock some of them off here and there, but if you don't have anything new and original, you're never going to really be able to build a name, build a brand around your company. You're not going to win repeatedly. It's just going to be hit or miss because, again, your content's Me Too. All it takes for somebody else to knock your content down in the search rankings is to just make theirs slightly better. Original research can help solve this problem for you. When you do original research and present your own information and your own statistics in an article, when other people copy you, first of all, it's very easy to prove that they took that from you. If you generated the stat, you now have proof, even if they didn't actually word for word plagiarize your content. Next, if they choose to use it properly and actually cite where that information came from, well, cool. Now you get an actual contextual valuable backlink. We found the best way to build real good organic links is to generate statistics. So how do we do this original research? Well, that could be an entire video in itself. The way I'm wanting to level this up is to just learn how to get more creative with this. You know, you can start as simple as just talking to an expert. You're writing an article about pets, call a veterinarian and ask a question, right? You're writing an article about construction and you're driving home one day and you see some people framing a house, just pull over and say, hey, I got a question for you real quick, and just ask the question. You can take that a step further by polling an audience. If you don't have much of your own audience, oh well, go to a Facebook group, go to a Reddit board and ask the question and then get the results and tabulate that information as a bit of a poll. Anytime you can do your own calculations, anything in that format, you're going to do better. Where this really steps up is when you do start to get an audience and you can send out surveys and actually aggregate good data. That data just can't be copied And most people are not going to be willing to go through the effort to generate their own. This makes your content unique, makes it stand out, and helps it to rank really well. The next skill you've got to get really good at, I've been improving on this a lot already in the last couple of years, but this is capturing your ideas. Most people have ideas. They just don't always have them at the time that they need them. When you sit down to write an article and you think, okay, what am I going to write about today? It's not uncommon to waste your entire hour or 2-hour writing period that you designated today just trying to find and come up with a good topic to write about. Whereas, as you're going about your daily life, maybe listening to some podcasts, suddenly an idea strikes you. But if you don't capture it, it's gone. When it comes time to sit down again, it's gone, right? That has happened to me so many times. And so what I've started doing is dictating all of my ideas to my phone in a note. It can be as simple as that. When it comes to really capturing ideas in a more structured way, in our business, we use a tool called ClickUp. There are a lot of other tools that do very similar things, but it does allow us to share not only the notes, but also to turn them into tasks and put due dates on them and share that across everybody that we work with. It makes it really, really easy to make sure that things are getting done on time and to capture those notes. But for a long time, Jim and I, we just created a note on our iPhones, and we shared the note with one another, and we just had an ongoing idea list. And that list still exists today, and we still refer back to it sometimes to look at ideas we had for silly intros or for a topic for a video that we might have had a couple years ago, but we didn't do at the time. The easiest way to get started here, I'm actually going to help you with. So pull out your phone, hold it up to your speaker. You ready? Hey Siri, start a new note called Article Ideas. Now just add your article ideas right when you have them. Don't wait. And then you won't have any trouble coming up with awesome ideas when it's time to do your search analysis. This next skill set I think is particularly important going forward. In a recent video, Jim talked about a recent algorithm update and how Google's advice to us is generally like, fix your content and make it better. But as Jim really went into that, what he pulled out of that was, we need to be putting more life into our sites. We need to be creating more of the content ourselves, or at least putting our voice behind content if you're going to be outsourcing some of that. And one of the easiest ways to breathe life into your site is to immerse yourself in the topic. I can't tell you how many bloggers I work with over the years, and I'm guilty of this myself, who will start up a blog because it seems like a good topic, but it's not really a topic of that much interest to them. They don't really care at all about it. And they're happy to outsource the content, but they're more interested in the blogging and building up a business. That's cool, that's great, but it's going to be hard to breathe life into a site if that's the only approach you take. And so as you're working on your content, I encourage you to do your best to immerse yourself in your topic. This is going to make creating content dramatically easier. It's going to shorten the period of time you need to spend actually doing basic research on individual blog posts, and allow you more time to do some of that unique and original research that's going to add data and unique tips and unique information to your blog posts that others are ignoring. So how do we do this immersion in our niche? The way that we do that is just by getting involved. Start participating actively in any social media groups. If there's a Facebook group, if there are subreddits in your industry, find a way to participate. Go in and post questions, answer questions, read other people's questions and answers, and see what people are talking about. You should probably be listening to a couple, at least, of industry podcasts for your niche every single week. Just listen to at least 2 or 3 episodes of different podcasts every week, and that will help you immerse yourself substantially. A lot of industries are going to have other cool resources. Maybe there's a quick, simple course that you could take online that would just help you gain a couple of skill sets that you don't have today. Maybe there are some awesome books out there that you could listen to the audiobook or actually sit down and read words on a page. There's really no end to the number of ways that you could immerse yourself in your niche if you decided to take the time to do that. It can seem like, how am I going to find time to do this? But the truth is, it doesn't have to be that hard. If you have a commute to your normal job or other things that you do in your life, instead of listening to music or the news or whatever you're currently listening to, listen to those audiobooks, listen to those podcasts, and learn everything that you can learn through that format. Find ways to incorporate immersing yourself in your niche into your daily routines, and then it won't be hard at all. And this entire business and this entire project is just gonna be way more fun. So whenever it is that you're watching this video, whether it's now as we're entering into 2021 or a year, 2 or 3 from now, let's start today to up our skills to become ultimate content warriors. You know you want one of these.